This quarterback class is suspect. And by suspect, I mean it's sus. It's sus. But it's not the end all be all. There's some light at the end of this quarterback tunnel, this cave, this cavern we are in. That's what we're here to do today, man. We're here to discover that light. What's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Brushmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I always look forward to hearing from you. By the way, we're streaming later tonight. It's going to be me and Alex from Hail Mary Sports. Be around for that. It's going to be a blast. Also, no highlights in the video. I discussed this in my edge ranking video. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. But I get hit with copyright claims anytime I try to include highlights. I don't know how other channels do it. I might have to, I'll extend the olive branch and ask, but unfortunately I'm too busy. So maybe for 2023. I'm not trying to get demonetized. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of things. Starting with E.J. Perry at a Brown University. Former Boston College transfer. He actually transferred from Boston College in 2019. Who is he? He's got an average arm. It's not, I don't think it's that impressive. He had a hell of an NFLPA Bowl. Was it the NFLPA Bowl? Maybe it was the Shrine Bowl. Yeah, maybe it was the Shrine Bowl. Yeah, it was the Shrine Bowl. But yeah, no, I mean, he hasn't been that impressive for Brown. And it's low-level competition. Throughout his career there at Brown, 449 for 711. Went for over 4,900 yards, 35 TDs, 22 interceptions. Not that impressive. And to be fair, Brown kind of put the team upon Perry's back. He was asked to play a lot of hero ball there at Brown. And I think that led to a lot of, well, let's say a lack thereof decision making. Let's just go with that. But the dude is a better than expected athlete. And I think he does a decent job processing the field. We saw that at the Shrine Bowl. But at the end of the day, just average arm strength, inconsistent decision making. This might be a guy you draft at the end of day 3. Maybe. I got Geno Smith as a comp. That one made me laugh a little bit. But yeah, not much else to talk about here. But at number 9, I got Cole Kelley out of Southeastern Louisiana State. He actually came from Arkansas back in 2019. And this dude's 6'7", 249, and he's got some wheels. Like, you don't expect this guy would run the football. And he does. It's impressive. I think it's pretty darn impressive. He's actually got a pretty decent arm too, man. This man can let it rip. And you just look at first glance, you look at the size, the frame, the arm strength, the mobility, and you're like, man, this guy could really be a sleeper. And I think that could really be the case. He was a much improved decision maker this past season. However, it's not like it was all solved. There were some bad throws this past year on tape from him. The dude just takes a minute to process the field. To go through his reads, he just doesn't come off his reads fairly often. He just needs I think he needs to improve as a processor, improve his vision. He's got fairly decent zip, and he throws with a decent amount of touch. A lot of fumbles. I mean, well, I think it was 22 over the past 2 seasons. There were interceptions the prior year. I mean, he did have 10 this year, but he also did sling the ball a lot. And I mean a lot. But I think last year he actually won the Heisman Trophy for the FCS. So there is that. He got a combine invite, which tells me, hey, NFL teams, they're intrigued, they're interested. They want to know more. He's pretty fearless in the pocket. He does a good. I think he's got decent lower body mechanics. But I think what I put here was decision making. No. His touch throws are here and there. I kind of already talked about the decision making. It was a bit dicey before coming to the year, but I'm not saying he has like Felipe Franks type of like it's either a fastball or I'm not throwing the football. Like, because Kelly is capable of throwing a pretty pass. It's something I feel he struggles with. Just kind of learning how much to put under the football on deeper passes. Because we saw at the combine, again, it's a very controlled environment, but he can throw a pretty football downfield if he wants to. It's just about doing that more consistently. Did I mention consistently? But I really think he's going to get himself drafted. Compared to last year's class where I think we only saw like 8 quarterbacks get drafted last year. I think there's a few guys here. I think 9. We're going to at least see 9 guys get drafted. We could see maybe double digits even. At number 8, I have Akil Glass, Alabama A&M. And I love this guy. In terms of the late day 3 guys we're looking at when we're talking about Kelly, Perry, Caleb Elby, Jack Cohn, Brock Purdy, maybe Dustin Crum. Glass is my favorite. I think he's a guy worth rostering and developing because he's been outstanding the last 2 years for the Bulldogs, thrown for 51 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions. That he has a big arm. He throws with okay zip, could be better, but he puts good touch on the ball downfield. He throws a fairly accurate football. I think, in my opinion, I think he throws with decent anticipation. Where he does struggle, I would say, is timing. Because typically when you say a quarterback's throwing with timing, that means they're throwing with anticipation. And I think it just needs to click quicker with him. Because I think he is throwing with anticipation, but it's taken him a long time to get there. Or get the throw there. So again, I'm a little nitpicky with that. I mean, you kind of have to be in these late day 3 if you're gonna. Again, these are kind of like lotto picks at this point, but yeah, you want to make sure you get the right lotto pick. He's Stonewall Jackson is what I put. Stonewall Jackson in the face of pressure. Like he will eat a hit if it means he can deliver a throw. He's actually pretty decent at maneuvering the pocket, but by no means does he have speed. Look at the 40, 5.27, but he maneuvers the pocket fairly well. However, he's someone who would rather win with his arm than his feet, and I'm cool with that. Man, at the end of the day, what it comes down to with Glass is because you see the talent, you see the arm talent. Just on a throw-to-throw basis, you want to see more consistency and placing the ball well. I mean, if you go back, if you look into like the analytics, you'll notice like he also has like among the some of these prospects, he has the most uncatchable balls. Again, like he's got it. It's just about being more consistent. Part of that could be hand size, because the ball doesn't come out pretty. It's not like a nice tight spiral. It comes out wobbly, and we'll get into it later. But hand size kind of matters in the NFL if you don't hit that 9-inch threshold. But I suppose I'll leave that till later in the video. At number 7, I have Bailey Zappi out of Western Kentucky. The dude blew it up this past season, throwing for 62 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions, thrown for almost 6,000 yards. He's a transfer just for a year removed from lighting it up at Houston Baptist. He was joined by his former teammate, was it Jareth Stearns? And yeah, they went on to have a hell of a year and break records. I think while the arm strength isn't special, barely average, I would say, he is a guy that is capable of throwing to all levels of the field. I mean, we kind of saw the struggles at the Senior Bowl where it looked like, yeah, he had the weaker arm of all 6 guys there. There were a few passes where, well, it looked like he was trying to ricochet it off the ground to his receiver's hands. But it's not a terrible arm. It's not like a god-awful arm. It's just not that. This cat can throw on he understands touch. Like, he could throw on a rope when need be, or he could literally just throw it into that nice little bread basket if you want. The problems that arise with Bailey Zappi is when you throw him off his rhythm, because he is very much a rhythm passer. A three-step, get the ball out. 5-step, get the ball out. And legit, you know what? Initially, I don't think he has terrible decision making, because decision making, you could say it's been a thing. Last year, he threw 24 turnover. He had 24 turnover worthy plays. It's a heck of a lot, but I think it's because he throws with confidence. He throws with, I think I put ego in the slide you're actually currently seeing. Like, his arm's got an ego. He's got an ego when it comes to his arm. He thinks he can make any and every throw, and I like that. But sometimes it's not always the best. Like, there are times where, honestly, it's not like he's very athletic, but he's athletic enough. He was athletic enough to, maybe if he gets forced out of the pocket, pick up some yards, pick up a few on the ground, decide to try to gut it downfield, not even settling for maybe a pass that just passed the sticks. He was looking for the big play because he's like, I can make that throw. And then maybe the ball pittered and it pattered and it just ran out of gas there and allowed defenders to get under it. We actually kind of saw that in the Senior Bowl game while he was running for his life, because the offensive line was terrible at the Senior Bowl, both of them. But that's another thing. His accuracy on the move, it's not great. This is a guy that can't really make off-platform throws. He is, for all intents and purposes, a pocket passer. Actually, I think I saw the Nick Mullins comp, and I really like it. And then I saw someone else say Case Keenum, and I was like, Case Keenum, and I was like, crap, that should have been the comp. That's a good comp for Bailey Zappi, but it was what it is. I ended up putting Nick Mullins. So you let me know what you think in the comment section below. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what more to really say about Zappi. He's got average athleticism. He's got an average arm. He's got a good feel for the quarterback position, but I don't think he's going to be anything more than a high-end backup in the NFL. At number 6, I have Carson Strong out of Nevada. First things first, let's talk about the multiple knee surgeries, because that's kind of a thing. Back in Strong's senior season of high school, he had surgery on his knee for, give me a second, osteochondritis dissecans. Osteochondritis dissecans. Nailed it. Anyway, he ended up having surgery at the end of the 2020 season as well. And then again had surgery to clean up some cartilage in his knee in just this past August. So a lot of stuff done on the knee. So yes, it was a concern. Apparently he had some cadaver tissue thrown in there. It stuck. Apparently the it's a high percentage type of operation, so shouldn't really lead to any short term concerns. More so maybe somewhere down the line perhaps. So that's it on the knee. Take it for what you will. Let's talk about the prospect, because this dude probably has, I would say, I honestly, I think he might have the best arm in this class. Quite possibly. This guy has a heat-seeking missile for a freaking arm, and it's strong, and he gets the ball out quick. He can put it on a rope. He's got a lot of touch. The dude's got an arm. Throws one of the prettiest balls in this class. Easy. He's also deadly accurate on passes past the line of scrimmage. 68%. That's pretty darn good. Like, this past year, that moved up to 70%. That's better. That's not even an adjusted completion percentage either. So, like, and this dude wasn't doing this in a screen-heavy, play-action-heavy offense. His arm was the offense. A lot of true dropbacks. So, not really a lot of plays, passes influenced by the run game. However, timing, anticipation, those are things that could probably use a little bit of work. We saw this during the Senior Bowl practices where, the quarterbacks, for the most part, they didn't look outstanding at the Senior Bowl, but he was one I was expecting at least his arm to really stand out, and it really didn't. Going to the game, you saw the time and the anticipation with his own boy, Romeo Doubs, led to an interception in the game. Not great. The mobility, you might be encouraged to be like, oh, he looked a bit better on a few rollouts during the practices of the Senior Bowl, but don't be fooled, man. This cat, he ain't a runner. And I don't think he's a guy that's going to extend plays with his feet. He's just not that guy. When it comes to his anticipation of pressure, well, shoot, man, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just an anticipation thing with him in general. He's terrible at picking up pressure. Not even to say that he's terrible at picking up pressure. He's getting out of the pocket at times before pressure is even apparent. This was an issue we saw with Jacob Eason, dropped him to the fourth. This is something we've seen most recently and most notably with Carson Wentz. You can't be scared of the pocket in the NFL. That just can't be the case, especially when you ain't all that. Like, your legs ain't all that, and you already got knee concerns. So, there is that. But, listen, this dude can drop dimes on the field. He does have a very talented arm. I think the reason, dude, some people still think he's the best quarterback in this class, and I don't blame them. We're going on arm talent alone. But I do think he is a guy that might not necessarily be ready to start. I don't think a lot of these guys, to be fair, this class, there's not really that one or two guys that are like, he is ready for the NFL now. I mean, there's a couple. We'll get to maybe like one or two more on this list that might have that potential. Carson Strong, I guess, but still, he's not a guy I want to rush on the field just because you're going to kill his confidence. You're throwing him out there when he's not ready. Few missed time balls, interceptions, shot confidence. It's not going to be a pretty thing. Before you know it, he's bouncing around the league like he's Carson Wentz. But at least he's getting paid, right? At number 5, I have Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. Let's go ahead. Let's get this out of the way. 8.5 inch hands. Let's just get this out of the way right now so we could talk about who he is as a prospect. No one in the NFL modern era has started a game at quarterback with sub 9-inch hands except Michael Vick. Kenny Pickett, fake slide and all, is not Michael Vick. He does not have the cannon. He does not have the athletic ability that Michael Vick had. In my opinion, you're really this is a lottery shot. Legit, it's a lottery ticket on a guy whose upside might not even. I really think his ceiling might be an 8 to 12 top 8 to 12 quarterback in the league. Is it worth taking that chance? I'm just gonna pose that question to you. Is a guy with this type of upside worth risking it, knowing historically only one guy's been able to make it work in the NFL, and he was far more athletically gifted and had a bigger arm than Kenny Pickett? Are you willing to take that shot? Because I am not. I got him as a second rounder, and I think that's fair. Let's talk about Kenny Pickett, who he is, the prospect that he is, and I don't want to talk about hand size for the rest of the video, and luckily I will not have to. Yeah, he might be the most pro-ready guy in this class. Honestly, he's the only one that I would have confidence taking shots over the middle of the field. He actually does a decent job at going through his progressions and throws with some decent anticipation, and like he's got the mobility to extend plays, and he can make off-platform throws. Like, dude's a functional athlete. High football IQ. Can make off-platform throws. That ain't half bad. He's a good decision maker at that. He had one hell of a year this past season. Remember? Fake slide. It was sick. However, I will say, keep in mind, Kenny Pickett, prior to this season, if you go back to his 2018, 2019, and 2020, he was nothing special. He is legit what they call a one-year wonder. He is a guy that just ended up putting it all together on a very talented team, by the way, at Pittsburgh currently. Very talented team. Ended up putting it all together in his last chance to do so. I came into the year with like a 4th or 5th round grade on Kenny Pickett because I saw him as a high-end backup in the NFL. Saw him as like, I think my comp at that time, I kind of like saw him as like Ryan Wilson. Because not to say Ryan Wilson's a high-end backup, but I thought Ryan Wilson coming out would be a high-end backup, obviously. Stuff happens. But you gotta beg the question, why didn't we see it sooner? And I think part of that, okay, the ball placement hadn't been great. In prior years, there was a lot more errors in his decision making. The ball placement got much better this year. Wasn't necessarily always on target, but it was catchable. So I think at least he puts it in the vicinity of his receivers. You can't say that about, this whole class. But there is also, he holds onto the ball too long. I think he was second in college football in terms of how long he took to make the throw. Justin Fields, he got all that crap last year. He's too conservative with football. He hold on football too long. Okay, so does Kenny Pickett. It's called spade a spade. Is what it is. Listen, and it's not like he's got an extraordinary arm. Like, he gave Bailey Zappi a run for his money at the Senior Bowl for maybe who had the weakest arm among the quarterback prospects there. The ball didn't, playing with an NFL-sized football, it kind of came out a bit wobbly. He threw the gloves on, and by gloves, I mean one-hand gloves, not, threw the gloves on. No, it's like he threw the gloves on, and I said I wasn't going to say anything about his hands. Oh, broken promises. But it looked a bit better, man. I don't know what. I don't care. Double joint, whatever. Thumb. I don't know. I don't care. He has been thrown with 2 gloves his whole career. And it's been fine. Not great. There are fumbling concerns, but it's been fine. If I'm a team that plays in a dome, if I could give in the second round, I'm telling you, I'm taking this guy in the second round. If I'm a team in the dome, I don't feel bad about, hey, I don't mind with this cat as my starter because we have so many good pieces around him. We can work with this. This is a guy that'll come in and we can have confidence in running our offense efficiently. I don't think he has first round upside though. He's at 53 on my board. That's pretty good, right? At number 4, I have Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. First things first, I want to say this dude's a hell of a competitor. He's fiery. This is exactly the type of guy you just want on your team. Also, very improved decision maker. Mind you, this guy played a lot of hero ball post this season. Like going back to 2020, he had a 4 interception game against LSU, a 6 interception game against Arkansas. But he was, I don't want to say more conservative with the football, but he was a bit more conservative with the football. Typically, again, he's in this Lane Kiffin offense where it's really, it's almost single read to some extent. And you kind of saw that in the Alabama game where he ended up taking sacks. Then again, the pressure was pretty phenomenal as well. But he ended up taking sacks. They weren't able to move the offense because if he can't go to that first read, it becomes a problem. Things become a problem. You got to question, is this guy a product of the Lane train? It's a very RPO heavy offense. A lot of screens, a lot of schemed up production. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I really like this cat's arm. He throws with very good zip, man. He throws a spacia meatball. I will say that. Could get better on the touchdown field, but he has an arm that's capable of that. It's the important part. He's very elusive. He's almost an escape artist in the pocket, and I like to see that. Kind of already went over the him being an improved decision maker. The size, he's put on weight. He got up 215. I don't think size is a concern. I mean, 6'2". I don't think it's a concern at this point. The guy actually because he was closer to 200 coming into the season. 215, you feel good about that. You feel good that his body can and will be able to hold up in the NFL. He's not ready yet. He's not ready to be a starter. When it's all said and done. He's still a very instinctual player. A guy who, again, doesn't normally go through his progressions. If maybe that first read isn't open, then he kind of panics, gets antsy, tries to create with his feet by time. Again, there's still some aspects of that hero ball in him. But I definitely think the high-end upside is there when it comes to Matt Corral. At number 3, Desmond Ridder as Cincinnati. Coming into the season, I was a big naysayer when it came to Desmond Ridder. I just didn't like him. I didn't see him as an accurate quarterback. And what really changed was the Alabama game, where I was like, man, this guy can make special throws. They just happened to get dropped in that game. But I was like, the guy's got the arm. But there is that he can be wildly inaccurate at times. He could be off timing, doesn't throw with great anticipation at times, but he has an NFL arm. He's capable of making very special throws. He actually does a good job of going through his progressions and reading the field. If need be, he can be a bit of a rhythm passer at times, but I'm not gonna lie. I think Desmond Ridder might be the most pro-ready quarterback not named Kenny Pickett in this class. And guess what? He's got more upside than Kenny Pickett. Did I mention he's an athlete? He's a straight line athlete. He's not. I don't think he's gonna be. He's no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes. But what he does is, again, he could get to a top speed very fast. Like, he can burn you with his feet. His mobility is something you're gonna have to like hold account to. Like, you gotta take his legs as a legit weapon seriously. And I mean, he's been that dual threat at Cincinnati. He has over 100 runs of 10 plus yards throughout his whole career. The frame's a bit wiry, but he put on a few pounds, like it was like 5 pounds or so. But still, I mean, I think he's a guy that could still build that frame. Relatively young at the age of 22, and tons of experience, man, coming into the year. But again, there are those gotta work on the ball placement. Honestly, needs to work on his release. He's got a stupid long release, and I think part of that's I'm not gonna contribute that to accuracy, but more so when he's off on time and anticipation. Accuracy is a whole another thing. It's just it's wild. He just needs to be consistent. He just needs to be consistent with it. No, I didn't even know I put this in the slide. Longer than anticipated release. Yeah, no, that is kind of a thing. But yeah, really, he's coming from an RPO heavy scheme, though he was asked to like do a lot more than some of the quarterbacks in this class at the quarterback position. Led to a special year for Cincinnati, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I would take him in the first round. Back into the first round. If you're willing to take Jordan Love, I'll just say that I didn't think Jordan Love was a first round prospect. I actually like him better than Jordan Love, but I'd be willing to take him at the back end of the first round. I think he's that good. And then at number two, Sam Howell. And before the comment section goes crazy, comp, Russell Wilson, are you mad? Listen, they both throw with a lot of touch. When I make these comps, it's based on measurements, it's based on maybe playing style, in this case quarterbacks, how they throw the football. These aren't player-to-player verbatim comps. I just think he has one of the I think he has the best deep ball. He has the prettiest deep ball in this class. I utterly love Sam Howell. So that's why you see Russell Wilson. To all those Baker Mayfield guys, oh, Sam Howell reminds me of Baker Mayfield. It's like, no, Baker Mayfield never threw a touch in his life. Just saying. They're very different passers. So I'm going to move on from there and let's talk about Mr. Big-Armed Sam Howell, because the dude's got the arm talent. He really does. He throws with so much touch. This cat can deliver the football, and he can do it accurately. I think from a throw-to-throw basis, at the Senior Bowl, Sam Howell was the best quarterback. Like, he was just consistently good. He really was. And he's got... Initially going to the Senior Bowl, I was like, listen, I know he's mobile, but I don't think he's going to be mobile in the NFL. I think he might be mobile in the NFL. He can extend plays and buy time in the pocket with them legs. Like, you're going to have to take into account, like, okay, this cat might scamper upfield for 7 yards on me. You got to take that into account. Big fan of Sam Howell. The dude was a top 10 quarterback prospect going into the season, and then that Virginia Tech game, the opener happened. And listen, this season, I'm not going to put on Sam Howell. I'm not. The offensive line was wishy-washy. His playmakers was limited. Keep in mind, he lost Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, De'Ami Brown, Daz Newsome. He lost serious talent to the NFL. And he had to put this less than stellar team on his back and led them to a winning record. Yeah, I like it. I think he's good. He plays an RPO heavy offense there for Mac Brown. So you might wonder, can he consistently go through progressions? And I think that's something he got better at down the road, further down the season, as he had to start relying on these guys if they were going to win games. But very much so, he is a see it and I'll believe it type of passer. I don't think there's really any anticipation in his throws. It's if you're open, I'll throw it to you. But he isn't a guy that's going to throw someone open. He currently isn't a guy that can anticipate his receiver in the route and throw it to a spot. I don't think that's him just yet. I think he's capable of it, but that's just not him right now. But nah, man, Howell's honestly one of my favorite prospects. He's a whole 4 spots higher than Desmond Ridder. But hey, if I were gonna take a gamble, for me it would be Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell. And then a whole 4 more spots higher than Sam Howell is Malik Willis. Let's be fair. The dude's got the biggest upside of anyone in this class. He just ticks a lot of boxes. Transferred from Auburn. And some of y'all might be like, well, he couldn't beat out Bo Nix. That might be more of an indictment on the Gus Bus and why the Gus Bus is no longer there at Auburn than it is on Malik Willis. But Malik Willis, man, let's start with the feet. Oh my gosh, stupid athletic. He has special ability as a runner. 94 missed tackles last season. If you didn't know, now you know. That was second among all rushers, all runners of the football in college football. Kenneth Walker was the only guy with more forced missed tackles. That's ridiculous. Next. Oh, okay. Arm talent. This dude can make any and every throw. He throws with a lot of zip, a lot of velocity, and he knows how to put touch on the football. He has a very good arm, and he can make off-platform throws. Dude can improvise. Guess what? Liberty, believe it or not, the offensive line wasn't spectacular there for him, and he was able to create in spite of that. Very good at, I guess improvising would be the best word there. Now let's get to maybe why some people don't like him. Well, with the line not being ideal, and part of this is also his athletic ability, him having a lot of confidence in his feet. He didn't really work inside a structure a lot. So it's like, can you operate inside a structure in the NFL? Because guess what? You kind of have to do that as a quarterback. And then you might be like, oh, he's not a guy that goes through his progressions naturally. He's not going to be someone that could use his head and eyes to lead defenders astray, kind of get them going with the eye candy, so to speak. You might be like, the ball placement, it's a bit hit or miss. His accuracy, I would say his accuracy was a step up compared to the 2020 season, where I would say like a lot of it was lower body mechanics. Like he would not throw with planted feet, and there'd be times where he was throwing off his back foot. I thought the lower body mechanics were much better, but he still has a way to go. I'm just saying there's improvement there. Just saying. And then decision making. Yeah, the decision making was all over the place. Let's go ahead, get into it, because these are the games people are going to bring up. Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Monroe. And you might be like, well, that's not very good competition. He played for Liberty. What do you expect? But yeah, they're like, he had probably a couple of the worst misses in the red zone that led to turnovers and cost his team the game. There are times where he just can't help but stare down exactly who he's going to throw it to. Woof. And we talk about how great that athletic ability is. Well, he also, I think he led all of college football in sacks last year. Sometimes he tries to get too fancy and he ends up taking a big loss. That's not ideal. Again, wasn't working with the best offensive line, but at the same time, just throw it away. Live for another play. I'm telling you, a 2nd and 10 is way better than a 2nd and 20. Don't take that sack. Don't do it. So yes, there are concerns. Straight up, is he ready to play? No. But the upside's huge. The athletically, he's dynamic. He could be special. He's got a huge arm. He knows how to throw with zip, how to throw with touch. You just gotta get him doing the quarterback stuff well. And I know some people are like, well, either quarterbacks have it or they don't. Okay, riddle me this. You're probably a Kenny Pickett guy. Why did he have it 2018 to 2020? Don't tell me that's something he can't get better at. Don't tell me that's not something he can't get better at. But nonetheless, I have him 24 on my total big board. That's the quarterback class that we live in currently. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. By the way, shout out to Mike Renner. I thought the Cordell Stewart comp was impeccable. I really try hard when I look at other people's comps to try to find maybe a different one. But I looked at that, I was like, man, that's a good comp. That do be good though. But that's it for the video. Go ahead to the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.